So the fold, if you think about it, the fold, the corner, is also a building block of any kind of visual work, in a sense. Enter Laura Marx, not Marx like Karl, Laura Marx. Media theorist from MIT. I'm using her framework to understand new media art and applying it to story and structure and story worlds. So this is hard to explain, but I'm gonna try to do it. So Laura Marx has a book called Unfolding. I never know. Unfolding and Infinity. Where in this book she looks at works of new media art and draws a parallel between these very new works and an ancient form of art which has come to be known as Islamic art. Many people don't like this term, so I'll just use it for lack of a better term. So she tries to track the genealogy of contemporary media art all the way back to different outputs of Islamic art in different phases in Islam's history. Okay? And what she saw is that there is some kind of similar operational mechanism for both. So when we say new media art, it's technically everything you see today on new media. New media means social media, YouTube, phone, streaming, all of these new forms of media that are very user generated, one, and that also have to do with a part of a network. Okay, so this is new media art in a general term. What she talked about was more like artistic outputs in media, which are like kind of like algorithmic arts, where you see a screen that's with endless patterns of numbers or pixels kind of being created. She gives different examples. You can look at the book; it's very interesting. I've also put some examples in the slides. But the idea of all of this is that Laura Marx claims that there is kind of a relationship happening between three different aspects of a media work, of a new media artwork, and that is infinity. The idea that this work can replicate until infinity. Just imagine like a computer screen with a dot that keeps generating different patterns and algorithms. Let's say, okay, so it can continue endlessly replicating and repeating until infinity. But it operates also under a certain code to create these structures, to create these images, basically. Okay? So it's a union between unity code that eventually creates the final output that you see. How this links to Islamic art? Because she says that instead of infinity, there is God, which is infinite, the idea of God. Instead of a code, we have scripture, stories from the Quran, all of that. And in the end, the output is the image, what you see in the end. Because try to visualize it. Try to visualize any intricate design on the ceiling of a mosque or anything made of very small patterns that are constantly unfolding. They're limited by the wall, but this pattern, because it's linked to a certain code or script, it continues generating endlessly, okay? And the image keeps unfolding. And that's the whole idea of unfolding and infinity. It's like there are some artworks that seem to somehow always unfold and then unfold and then she talks about the mechanism of it closing back upon itself. So imagine the spiral. It's something that is slowly unraveling in front of your eyes. And this unraveling can only happen because of folds, twists, and turns. Okay, which makes this the most integral part of any story structure. So I tried to adapt Laura Marx's framework into story. And it was very, very clear for me, because instead of infinity, in stories usually you have a world which is infinite. It can continue until forever. Endless stories can come out of Middle Earth, even though Tolkien wrote a few, but we still see stuff coming out. Instead of code, we have structure. You can say also script. And in the end, the output is, I like not to say script because the script can be seen here. You'll have a story. So a story is mainly made out of a world, a structure, and it creates this output. And through this framework, I want you guys to understand all the examples that we're going to look at afterwards. But keeping this in mind, and that's why I like to call this shadow media, I feel it kind of gives you a look into the mechanical workings of art, of materiality, of something that you see as a final product. It lets you visualize what gives rise to this final product. And this aspect of visualizing what you wouldn't really think about when you see just a beautiful artwork, whatever it is, this is an aspect of media that I feel has been occulted. It is either in the hands of people who practice media, who make media, or academics, people who talk about it. But rarely do I see the average consumer of media understand these inner workings. And I like to show it in this small, very basic diagram. Okay, remember alchemy, remember the union of opposites. So you have a screen, okay? The screen emits sound and image, okay? And you will have people watching the screen in different forms, okay? And it creates impression on these people, no? They flock to the cinema to watch movies because it makes them feel stuff. It can scare you, it can make you laugh, it can transform any state you are in. It can transform the whole way of looking at the world. Because this is a very powerful device, because it works with both audio and visual media together. It was adopted by many different cultures in the world, singing, chanting, performing. It's a powerful tool to make people adjust, readjust, submit, become devoted. It's a powerful tool. But all the average person knows about this thing is that there are just people who come and watch it. And they know that are people who make it. But one does not know is that in the only difference between the back end of cinema or of media and the front end is that the connection between these is way more explicit, okay, than the connections between these people. These people might connect on a general feeling regarding what they saw, not only in a movie theater, in a general term. But these people are connected through money, influence, and power, right? I mean, just think about it. Who creates the best of this shit? Right? How much money is put into this shit? So there is a sense that this media is really, the real intentions of this media is kind of shadowed by the people who make it. Think coding, okay? You see the front end of anything, you see the website, but do you have any idea what it took to make it through the back end? I mean, have you ever seen coding language? It's like only programmers understand this. Just to give you a sense how much separation there is between these two worlds. And the beautiful thing about new media, which many people here are not gonna like what I say, but new media has somehow dissolved this barrier. New media was responsible, new media meaning Facebook, man. Facebook was responsible for creating more than 7 revolutions around the Arab world. Facebook alone. Not saying that it's good, but it's a medium that has a lot of power. But what happened, why was it powerful back then to topple governments? Is because these people became these people. Any person holding a phone can film something, show it, and create a transformation in the perception of reality, right? So in a sense, new media can liberate people into creating many different things that can create like changes in the world to many different extents. Think of how much new media now is saturated between lines between these and these. It's all connected now. We live in an age today when it's so easy to watch something on a screen and then contact the person who made it, like text them. It's so easy. And somehow today in 2026, these lines are blurrier than ever because unpopular opinion maybe, but personal theory. In 2016, Donald Trump came to power and introduced the word fake news. And everyone was like, fake news? Why wasn't the news we were watching all this time before this term came up real? So it created a dissonance between these two things. People became skeptical. The information, the post-truth era started emerging. No one knows right from wrong. It's all crazy until something happened 3 years ago that kind of reversed this dynamic. And now we're seeing this reversal slowly unfold. You know what I'm talking about? October 7. It somehow lifted a veil. It unraveled our eyes into a brutality of this world that no one wanted to look at. But suddenly everyone was forced to look at. Forced. And I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm saying this has all maybe been happening by design. So this guy brought and introduced fake news in 2016. Today we're 2026. Just from what I talk with people and what I see online, the fake from the real is I know it's the hardest time on earth to understand what's fake and what's real, especially with AI. But if you start working with this media, when you start actually practicing it, you will realize that now it's clearer than ever to see what's fake and what's not. Even if the AI looks really, really real, you can tell if you focus enough. And part of this entire lecture series is to equip people with the tools to be able to see these things when they watch the media, to know what's right from wrong and to distinguish between things. Okay? So shadow media, in a sense, what I'm speculating is this whole world of media. It involves many different things, but it involves a side of the media world that has not come to light. It's not the side, it's the side that you see on the screen, but it's also a side of it that is not so seen. So not only is it the back end of media, but also it could be the trash of media. Like I have this page Tawus, and like I don't have a lot of followers. It's been 5 years, 6 years. I opened in 2020. I post, but not crazily. 1,600, never exceeded that. It's a small page, but there's something I like about it, which is it is the niche of the niche. And today niche is a thing. Yani niche is a place that can get you money, that has a lot of followers. So we're living, I think, in a time now, 10 years after this fake news, that a cycle has kind of ended and the underbelly is ready to come out and show us its beautiful glory. Because there is a lot of glory in the hidden. Not glory, there's a lot of beauty in the hidden and the shadowed and the occulted.